Hi, good evening, everyone, and how are you doing? Welcome to this week's watch list video. I do this every Sunday where I just run through a bunch of stocks that I'll be paying close attention to in the coming trading week. As always, as you know, or in case you don't know, the Nigerian stock markets are closed on Sundays but run from Mondays to Fridays most weeks of the year, except there's a public holiday or something comes up. Now, my criteria for stocks on my watch list, technical reasons, highs, lows, stocks trading in range, large volumes, then also corporate actions or expected corporate actions. So corporate actions are either announcements made by the firm, it could be results or financial statements being dropped, it could be a major buy or sell transaction, it could be a new product, it could just be a key meeting that has a major agenda. So those are the criteria that I use. Please note that this is not investment or trading advice. That I'm watching something that I believe a stock is cheap or it's expensive or it's trading in the low end of the range or high end of the range. You can't base your investment decisions on people's content. You need to work out your numbers and decide what makes sense to you. So starting off with UAC, UAC led last week's gainers up 60.69%. I think the stock closed are close to the 88 naira mark or so. Let me just check the numbers I have. I'm using another device. So UAC closed at 88 naira and 30 kobo. That's a 52-week high. It's been a while, a couple of years, we saw UAC trading at that high point. Should be pushing probably 7, 10 years, if my maths is correct. And people might not know, but it was a time UAC was probably trading at this price point. So what led to the rally? H125 numbers were pretty decent, but I believe that the news that they shared that look, they're going to acquire Chivita Hollandia. Chivita Hollandia is a firm behind popular brands, Chivita fruit juice, Hollandia yogurt, and other products in that line. So they are going to acquire this company from Coca-Cola. So I suspect that partly because it's a huge transaction. There was a call on Friday. Management, I guess, didn't want to let out much of the bag since the deal is still in the works, and obviously, I guess they are waiting for a regulatory approval before fully, talking more about the firm. So they didn't give us much insight into the transaction. But I think that, the stock gained 60% last week. If you're a trader, then you're probably going to exit because you've made 60% in a week. You've beaten the all share index, which is up about 37 or so percent. You've beaten inflation, so you might want to take some profit off the table if you're a trader. And you might also decide and say, look, this is a major transaction. I think it's going to have a material positive impact. I want to stick around and see when this will be closed. I guess maybe what, 6 months, 1 year, they should be able to close this transaction. And so when they eventually close this enlarged entity and all that, it would be nice to see the enlarged entity numbers post-transaction close. And also, those are the thoughts I have, but whichever way you slice and dice it, definitely UAC will be first on my watch list simply because of the quantum leap you saw last week. Nahco has been range trading in the last couple of weeks. The stock has, ever since it broke above 100 naira, it pushed up a bit and it came down. So Nahco has been range trading. At the moment, Nahco closed on Friday at 99 naira and 30 kobo. I think the 52-week high should be around the 115 to 117 mark. So it's been range trading. And if you're a trader, I'm not saying you should trade, but I'm just giving a perspective or why my perspective. Anybody who's a trader with sufficient capital can easily move between 99, 110, 120. Fundamentally, and if you check, probably, I did a video on this, I've done write-ups, I've done podcast episodes on Spotify. Fundamentally, the stock definitely should be in the 110, 1-ish range, above 100 naira range. So anybody who can swing, you have the time to swing, then yeah, it's kind of interesting from a technical analysis perspective and all that. And I think this stock will continue to range trade. I mean, results have dropped, results were fantastic, but I don't see what else will provide momentum. And if you have the broad market dipping a bit, who knows, you might see it dip further. But whichever way you look at it, fundamentals or technicals, it's at an attractive price point. MTN Nigeria stock was on the tier last week, and I'm trying to find time to see if I can sit down and do a video on MTN Nigeria results. I think this stock, just going by what they said and you're just working out the numbers, I think this stock is probably going to trade at 1,000 naira in the next 2 3 years, except you have some really crazy factors out of the blues happening. I mean, at bare minimum, just looking at the numbers, this is a 600 naira to 1,000 naira stock. But I'll do a video, I'll do a Spotify podcast episode. That might actually be quicker for me. A Spotify podcast episode might be quicker on why I think this stock should be traded at that range. So stock was on the tier last week. It pulled back a bit, but look, whichever way you look at it, closed the week at 480 naira. I think it was up 20% this week. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I mean, it's either it's going to range trade or it's going to push higher. It all depends on how you look at it. But I do believe that at bare minimum, I think this stock in the next couple of weeks would probably break above the 500 naira mark. I think the momentum is quite strong, and fundamentally the numbers justify that. So MTN, hence having the spot on my watch list for this week. As an aside, do let me know if you quite like this color combo. It looks quite good. Maybe it's me, maybe it's my eyes, but it's always cute. Just playing around with colors. One of the downsides of shooting so many videos, you constantly have to change colors. I mean, I've tried to have some template for my pre-market videos and my daily market summary videos, but still thinking around, should I have a one-off template or should I play with the colors every week for the weekly watch list? Let me know in the comment section. EcoBank and First Holdco are on my watch list because they have earnings calls this week. I think First Holdco has its earnings call on Monday, I believe, and EcoBank Transnational, also known as ETI, has its earnings calls on Thursday, I believe. Let me just confirm that of First Holdco, because that I know is the one that is closest to the week. So I think definitely it should be, today is what? Today is the third. It should definitely be sometime this week. But if I'm wrong, do let me know. I don't believe I'm wrong. Let me see if I just want to confirm. I like to be as accurate as possible because people rely on this content. So let me see if I can quickly double back to the IR page. And I must give kudos to them. They just make my job very easy because you go to the IR page, IR meaning investor relations page, and the press release, the earnings release is there. You don't have to struggle, and it's just, I hope other firms emulate. So I am correct. Monday, August 4, 2025, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Lagos time, 3 p.m. UK time, 10 a.m. New York time, 4 p.m. Joburg and Cape Town time. That is when the earnings call for First Holdco will be holding. First Holdco, in case you're wondering, the logo should give you some insight if you're someone who's probably familiar with Nigerian stocks and Nigerian banking space. First Holdco is the parent company of First Bank. ETI means EcoBank Trans International. I tend to pay close attention to ETI because it's a big Pan-African bank. And for anybody who's kind of interested in what's happening in economies around Africa, it's a summary because I tell people banks feel the pulse of people. Financial transactions, whether it's by individuals, whether it's by companies, if you have a healthy state of things, they know things are squeezed, sectors or broad countries or even both, they know. So I always quite enjoy the ETI call, and it's also something worth listening to as well. Conoil, Conoil H1 numbers dropped after market hours. I think the next episode I should be doing Spotify episode. Whenever you watch this, and it should be out today. I'll probably be doing an episode on the downstream players. It's a sector that is I'm facing a bit of a squeeze. A lot of the numbers struggled. Conoils, Total Energies, marketing, Eterna. Numbers mixed, but none. They were not fantastic numbers. So I probably would do an episode on that. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So apologies to those who are expecting MTN. MTN should probably be my last Spotify episode for the day. So Conoil H125 numbers dropped after market hours. I think they dropped on either Friday or Saturday. I need to confirm, but they were dropped well after market close. Sharp dip in profit. It's not a very liquid stock, so it's possible that you may not have much of a market reaction, but it's also possible you may have market reaction because of a really steep decline in profit. Wema Bank dropped its numbers last week. Blowout numbers. The firm is on. I mean, they've in 6 months they've made what they made in 12 months last year. So it's been a blowout set of numbers for them. Stock went on a tear last week, and I think it's possible it may either retrace or go higher. I mean, great numbers. I wish I had the time to go through those numbers. Solid numbers, everything, balance sheets and everything. And as always, please note, the fact that I say solid doesn't mean you should buy it, but the numbers are solid. Truth must be said. Only issue I have is from a valuation perspective. I think the stock is a bit pricey. If you're using price to book valuation, it should be trading at about 1.2 times book value. So I probably need to wait for Fidelity Bank and then I think put all the tier two and let's see where they're trading at in terms of price to book, and I'll probably tweet that and put it uh, as a post tier. So blowout numbers, stock went on a tier. It's not surprising, and I think that it's possible it may continue pushing higher. Let me just see where the stock closed at on Friday. I know it's trading very close, less than 1 naira, I believe, to its 52-week high. In case you're wondering what 52-week high means, it means the highest price at which a stock has traded in the last 52 weeks. 52 weeks means a year. So when I close Friday's trading session, up 1 naira 90 kobo, close at 23 naira 90 kobo. So I think definitely the stock will be in play this week. Now, for more content, check out greentickettales.com, Green Ticketales podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube Music. I'm just wherever, all the links are in the bio as well. So have yourselves a great profitable trading week. There are a couple of firms I left out because I'm not too sure. I believe the numbers will be out. Some of the tier one banks, I mean, maybe your UBA, GT, Access, Zenith. I think one of the big four, the remaining four tier one banks should have their earnings out, but I didn't put it because I'm not certain. That's the thing about banks. Can't time the calendar for banks. I think most of the major earnings have been released, barring the banks and maybe some of the insurance firms, but even some of the key insurance firms, your custodians, your name and co, I believe they all dropped last week. So let's see how this week goes. I think this week may remain a profitable one as well. Let me know what you think. Have a profitable day or week, especially trading week ahead.